I'm live here at the Career Expo, of course, and I'm actually been chatting with Chris, one of our candidates who's here. And so, Chris, why don't you say hello, introduce yourself a little?
Hi, my name's Chris. I am a paramedic, and I'm here at the Expo looking to see what the fire departments around here have to offer.
Yeah, perfect. What are you currently doing?
Currently, right now, I'm taking some time off. Previously, the most recent thing I did was I worked with the COVID response team in Los Angeles County. We were going into homeless encampments and providing vaccinations for folks. I was lucky enough to work on the street medicine team, so we got to go into all the places that sometimes we don't see when we're driving by on the freeway and provide some medical care, COVID vaccinations, and just a little bit of love to some of the folks on the streets right now that are without homes. So that's what I'm doing.
That's amazing. That's really important work that you're doing. And so it looks like if you're here, then you might be looking for a bit of a career change. What interests you, or what got you interested in the fire service?
Well, I have talked to a few folks about this, and it's one of those things where sometimes you just feel like you're drawn to something. And I've been very fortunate to have several different stations in life where I got to see a lot of things. I come from a family though of service. My father was a soldier. My mom was a teacher. I have family members who were in law enforcement and in the military, and I just feel like I'm part of that chain. So that's what drew me to it. I think I've always been drawn to it.
Totally. And, the fire service is, has that paramilitary aspect to it occasionally, especially with the academies. And we have a Cal-JAC EMT Academy, but you already have your EMT, correct? And your paramedic.
That's true, yes. I went to a great school down in Orange County for my EMT a few years ago, and that was really kind of me dipping my toe in the water to see if I could handle, first of all, what first responders see. And we're talking about the stuff that you all think of, car crashes, people that are injured, and sometimes they're having their worst day. I realized I really like that. So ever since then, for the last 4 years, I've been working in EMS or medicine in one way or another. I decided right before COVID hit, late 2019, I said, paramedic's the next step. To really be serious about being a firefighter, I think paramedic's something I need to do. I had a great friend turn me on to a program that's based out on the East Coast, and I started that program in May 2020, right when everything kind of went south. So there were some we had to figure out how to do our clinical rotations in hospitals with masks on, and I got to see once again people on their worst day, but I got to see the best in some of the nurses I worked with. Shout out to all the nurses in North Carolina that taught me a lot of the skills that I have as a medic. And then I got to run calls in these smaller communities that are not like Los Angeles, but very similar in a lot of ways. They know their community very well. They live with them. And sometimes we'd run a call on somebody and then see them at literally the Piggly Wiggly that week. That can definitely happen in LA, and it does. It happened a lot out there. So I got my paramedic during COVID, and I was lucky enough earlier in 2022 to actually practice some of my paramedic skills with the COVID response team.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are you looking to go with a department here in SoCal? Are you looking for LA specifically? Did you get to chat with a department you might want to work with?
That's a great question. You know what? I think a lot of firefighters box themselves into the Los Angeles area. There are so many of us here that want to serve our community as firefighters, and there's only so many spots. So in Los Angeles, there's two or three big shows, and there's LA City, there's LA County, and there's Orange County Fire Department. Of course, San Bernardino's in there, and Cal Fire. But some of the smaller departments are great, and some of those smaller departments are up in the East Bay, or they're in Sacramento, and those fire departments can offer a great opportunity for people that are looking to just fight fire. I think we're always going to have folks that want to just fight fire and go home, but some of us really want something more. And sometimes those smaller departments can really help with that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so we're actually doing another Career Expo over in Livermore, kind of just outside of the Bay Area. So if anyone is out there watching today who's from NorCal or from the Bay Area, this would be a great time to maybe register on our Eventbrite. We have the link in our bio on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and TikTok as well. Would you recommend people to come out here?
Oh, 100%. I've learned things. I've been moving slowly towards fire departments for the last 3 or 4 years. I've applied. I've actually interviewed with some departments, and I've learned things here today things that I just didn't know. For instance, I work with a company here in the area that does 911 calls. It's almost all they do is a private company. And one of the captains here told me, he said, that's great. A lot of the firefighters might not know that company. As soon as they hear private company, they're going to make certain assumptions about what you did. You have to expand on that and say that you actually ran 911 calls with a municipal department, because every department here is a municipal department, and they sometimes don't understand that dynamic. So I learned something new today, and that's why I would come here, just because you might learn something you don't know, even though you think you know a lot.
Absolutely. And that's a great piece of advice, because, there are those people such as yourself who's looking to make that jump from the private to the public sector, working with the fire service. We highly encourage it here at the Cal-JAC for sure. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.